Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Talbot. Thank you so much for joining this session this morning, and we're so thrilled to have everyone here. My name is John Copeland. I am the Director of Cultural Tourism for the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. And welcome to session number 8 of the GMCVB's Partner Planning Workshop Series. Session 8 this morning. We have 3 more to go after this session today, so we hope you'll all tune in. But this morning we're going to be spending the next hour or so talking a little bit about what it's going to take to attract new audiences in our new era. And not only attracting the new ones, but how we're going to win back those audiences that have been coming for years and years to our arts institutions, our cultural museums, our attractions. And we've got a lot of work ahead of us, but we know we can do it. So with that, we're going to kick things off. And I want to give a special shout out this morning to our sponsor Antara. And so a little bit about what we're going to be doing today. And to kick things off, I'm going to have Briar DeHaven, account director with Antara, tell us a little bit about Antara, who they are, what they do, and why they are so important to the GMCVB. Antara, take it away.
Thanks, John. Hey, everybody. My name is Briar DeHaven, and I am an account director at Antara, as John mentioned. And Antara is the digital web development agency for the GMCVB. So we actually support the website and help launch and make sure all of those amazing campaigns that Josie's team comes up with actually make it onto the site in a smooth and an effective way for your visitors and your partners. So we're really excited to be here and support this session today. Antara, we're a small digital agency of 50 people or so in Johnson City, Tennessee. So just north of you guys in the mountains of Southern Appalachia. And we're really excited to sponsor this arts and culture session. We know that this is a hugely important topic. And I myself am personally vested. I'm a theater nerd, theater grad, and for many years was an actor in a touring company up in New York and have a very soft spot in my heart for the arts. So I'm here as a personal fan, but also professional sponsorship for the session today. I'm looking forward to learn from all of you. So thanks for having me.
Great, thank you so much, Briar. And again, we're thrilled with our support that we get from Antara. They're an amazing partner with the GMCVB. And I encourage you all to reach out and find out more about what Antara does. So to move things along and kick off this session, I just want to put a big reminder out there that the arts and culture scene in Miami was really, really kicking. We were rocking and rolling here in our community. And as you all are, I'm sure, quite familiar, this data that you see on the screen here is from the 2015 Arts and Economic Impact Prosperity Study done by Americans for the Arts. And with the partnership of the Miami-Dade County Department of Cultural Affairs, we see the numbers here on the screen. And again, these numbers were 5 years old. So we've got this great milestone ahead of us. And we know we're going to be able to get back there quickly. We're a very resilient destination, and we've got a lot of ingenuity and innovation that's happening here amongst our arts community. And so we look forward to getting these numbers back and surpassing them in the years to come. Now, we had the opportunity to sit in on a Destinations International conference a couple of weeks ago, and we got some great insights about what consumers are thinking. And the data that you see here was taken by Longwoods International as they were surveying travelers about what they want to see online during the shutdown. And so this was an interesting way to take a look at what travelers are very interested in. And as you notice some of the highlights on here, right at the top, the travelers are looking for deals. And not only dining, not only travel, hotel, but also entertainment deals. And so if you have the opportunity to put those out there to travelers, to potential attendees, to your attractions, to your museums, that's what they're interested in finding out about as they are planning their future travel. The next item down there are online virtual tours of museums, of galleries, other visitor attractions. So while people are at home, while they are looking to entertain themselves and they're dreaming about the future, online virtual tours are a big deal. And so we hope that you are taking the time to think about how you can position your business, your company in a virtual environment. And finally, it's live streams. People want to be able to connect in the same way that they have in the past, whether it's an artist talk, a curator talk, a virtual walkthrough of an artist gallery, or a studio visit. These are very important things to potential travelers as they look to stay connected to the destinations that they love. And I know many of you have been doing amazing, amazing work in this area because we've seen it. Since the shutdown began, the cultural tourism team here has put together the Virtual Miami platform, which I know you're all very familiar with. We've had more than 300 listings on this site since we launched it back in early April. It's been wildly popular. We get a lot of visits, a lot of web traffic to this site. And so we encourage you to continue submitting this content to Virtual Miami because we're committed to keeping Virtual Miami a part of Miami and Beaches for the foreseeable future. It's just a great resource for people who are planning their vacation, who are planning to get back out and be amongst friends and celebrate everything that Miami has to offer. I also want to draw your attention to the Threshold 360 platform. Now, Threshold 360 is a company that the GMCVB works with, and we offer a partner benefit where Threshold 360 can actually come out to your venue, to your museum, to your gallery space, and create a virtual tour. They have all of the equipment, they have the software and the technology to do that. And so if you're interested in that, I encourage you to reach out to our partnership team to talk about how you can have Threshold 360 come to your space and capture a virtual tour. And then finally, as you know, we've been very busy with workshops and training. Numerous Zoom sessions talking about what's happening in the industry, what you can do, benefits to you as an organization to help you survive and sustain yourselves through this shutdown. And we've been partnering with a lot of our partner service organizations, including the Department of Cultural Affairs, the Arts and Business Council of Miami, the Greater Miami Festivals and Events Association, the Florida Attractions Association that's on the call here with us today, along with our city municipalities, City of Miami Beach, City of Coral Gables, and many others. And so through all of this, we hope that we are able to service you and your needs as best we can during this time. And again, we always encourage you to please reach out to us as you need, because we're going to be here for you. And so now we're going to move on to the next section of our morning. And I'm proud to introduce a good friend, a new friend, Kathleen Drohan. Kathleen is in PR at the New World Symphony. And Kathleen came to Miami just recently, just back in January. And she leads the public relations efforts out at the New World Symphony. Now, prior to Miami, Kathleen was in Boston, and she had PR leadership positions with the Boston Symphony Orchestra, the Boston Pops, at Tanglewood. And today, Kathleen's going to share some insights from the hashtag Miami Arts Strong campaign, which is designed to keep the arts and culture top of mind during the pandemic. So welcome, Kathleen. Great to have you here. Tell us a little bit about Miami Arts Strong and how the initiative came about.
Thank you so much. It is great to be here, and it's also great to see, I can't see the list anymore, but as I was watching people come in, there's a lot of Miami Arts Strong participants who are here with us, so thanks to all of you guys as well. Miami Arts Strong, we came together as a group of, I'm very big on my screen now, as a group of communicators in the arts in Miami. So public relations and marketing folks, and to borrow a cliche, we are stronger together. And we all, as arts groups, it started sort of, it was fluid. It was a little bit organic how we came together as a group, but we started meeting bi-weekly by Zoom and to talk about what's happening for all of our organizations. And one of the things that we're all still here, the arts are still here. We're gonna be here, hopefully, when all of this is over. And so I think, you know, John, you said that this session is about attracting new audiences and bringing back the audiences that we had before we all had to shut down. And we just want to remind you that we're still here. We want to keep everybody informed about the arts and the value of the arts, and also that the arts are really sustaining us during this time. People are participating in art online, looking at our live streams and virtual tours, but they're also creating art themselves. And so, as you mentioned, I'm new to Miami, and the thing that struck me so dramatically when I got here is how vibrant the arts are here and how important they are as a culture. And we wanted to see that. So we created, as a group, we created Miami Art Strong. We have a website, miamiartstrong.org, and encourage folks to just be out there sharing why the arts are important, why we love them, you love them, and hopefully when it's all over, you can come back. But to all of our organizations, a little bit of a search of the hashtag shows an incredible breadth of art, from visual art to music makers to theater to poets. It's really incredible. We have a video that John is going to show in a second. We're about to have another video. There's about 60 organizations who are currently participating in Miami Art Strong, meaning joining us for meetings, and also using the hashtag. As we move forward, we're going to create some more social media around this. We're still working with the details of what happens at the New World Center, but I believe that we're going to be able to have a video of all of our submissions that we might be able to show on our wall. So we're working on it. And then how we continue as an organization to support each other through this now, and what happens as we move into our new reality of the time after, the future. We'd like to continue to support the arts as a unified group. Every arts organization is welcome to join. So we would love to do that. I can throw my email address into the chat. So just reach out. We would love to have you. And maybe we show the video and let's see what's going on.
Great. Thank you so much, Kathleen. Let's roll the video.
The arts are a powerful force, allowing us to express our humanity through a spectrum of emotions, from joy to sadness to nostalgia. Most importantly, art helps us connect with one another. Until we meet again, Miami's vibrant arts community is committed to using the digital realm to showcase musicians, dancers, actors, and artists, and celebrate creators at home. Show us how the arts have inspired you. Tag us on social media to show us how you are Miami Art Strong.
That's fantastic, Kathleen. Thank you so much for that. And a quick question, is there any cost for arts organizations to participate in Miami Art Strong?
There is no cost, and we want as many folks to be out there, either just using the hashtag, joining us at our meetings, whatever you want to do. We'd love to get you in.
Great, great. Thank you so much. And so as a reminder, we will be sharing all of this information with all of the participants here on the session this morning, so that you'll get the information of how to participate in Miami Art Strong. And we hope you'll all join us in this great campaign. Thanks so much, Kathleen.
Thank you.
Next, I want to invite our good friend of the GMCVB, Mr. Bill Lupfer, to share some words about what's happening. Over the past 12 years, Bill has served as the president and CEO of the Florida Attractions Association, where he promotes and advances all things excellence in attractions here in the state of Florida. Florida Attractions Association has more than 230 organizational members representing thousands of employees. Bill and his team work tirelessly to advocate and support this industry that's so vital to Florida's economic success. So welcome, Bill. Good to see you this morning.
I appreciate the introduction. I didn't write that, just for the record, but I need a copy of that to show to my wife. She would be very impressed.
Absolutely. We'll send her the video, Bill.
Thanks. It's good to be with you all. And just a bit about the Florida Traction Association, then I'm going to jump into the last few months, the 143 days, according to Bill Talbert. We are the industry association for all attractions, and they include the cultural attractions in the state of Florida. But our membership is very diverse as the state of Florida is, and everything from airboat rides and aquariums to historic tours and tram and tour vehicles, farms, gardens, go-kart tracks, zip lines, zoos. They're all members of the Florida Attractions Association. We do a lot of work in the advocacy realm, and I'm going to spend a little time on advocacy this morning, as well as professional development and networking opportunities for our members. Been around since 1949. So this has been an interesting period of time for everyone, and certainly operating on the fly. From the advocacy realm, it became evident pretty quick that there was some misunderstanding in terms of terminology. And when the White House came out with their plan, they spoke of the term theme parks, which is really kind of a subset of our membership. And then when the state came out with their plan, they also used the term theme parks, but when they released the actual executive order, it used the term amusement parks. And museums are kind of a set aside because they were dealt with in the realm of libraries, with libraries. So we spent a weekend working with the governor's office trying to understand what exactly the expectation was, notwithstanding that the Southeast Florida was kind of under a different set of rules all along. But finally, we're able to begin getting our members reopened in May, and most of our members were able to reopen in May and early June. Today we've got, and by the way, two counties in particular were very challenging. One was Orange County, which came up with their own process for reopening. And the other was Miami-Dade, which has kind of had a whole different approach at dealing with the pandemic. Where we are today is kind of a challenging situation, particularly in Dade County. And as a result of the high positivity rate down in your county, on July 2nd, we saw the
Did we lose Bill there?
He looks like he's still on. Video and audio still on. Maybe his sound got disconnected.
Yeah, Bill, it looks like we lost your sound. Well, without skipping a beat, we'll come back to Bill in just a little bit. Sorry about that, folks. A little technical glitch here. Bill was tuning in from Orlando, so hope everything's right with him. Bill, if you're not back on, we will move along to our next speaker. And so gives me great pleasure to welcome Frank Steslow this morning. Frank's been the president and CEO of the Philip and Patricia Frost Museum of Science for the past 4 years. And Frank oversees downtown Miami's 250,000 square foot campus of interactive science learning. The Frost Science Museum is currently open and to the public, and we're all eager to hear news from how Frank and how the guest experience has changed under the new environment of COVID-19. So welcome, Frank, and tell us a little bit about what you're seeing from attendees to the Science Museum.
Yeah, thank you, John. It's been a really interesting 8-week period, obviously for all of us. We took the time during our closure period to really prepare the building. We had some sense of what was coming in terms of the requirements, both federal, state, local, And that was sort of phase one, was really kind of getting the facility prepped. A lot of physical changes to the building. When we did reopen, we reopened to the public. It's been now coming up on 8 weeks, and we opened our in-person summer camps at the same time, according to the Miami-Dade County summer camp requirements, which are very limited capacity, socially distanced, masked camps. And we operated virtual camps. So all of that's been going on for the past 8 weeks. In terms of the visitation, I would say a couple of things. The good news is it's extremely consistent. Weekday to weekday, weekend to weekend, the attendance really doesn't vary. It's been about the same each week that we opened. So from a planning perspective, that makes it fairly easy to staff and to operate. We've not seen any decline, even with the increase in COVID cases, but we've not seen any growth. We're seeing about 20% of what we would see normally. And again, that's just a consistent sort of day in and day out trend. Those people that are coming are very grateful for having an opportunity to get out, to do something with their family. We have quite a lot of comments from guests about the appreciation of both being opened and the care and safety requirements that we've implemented. I think our overall sort of comments on social media have probably gone up a few points. I mean, they tend to be very positive comments, but there certainly is a fair amount of the population here locally and whatever tourists are in the market that are not comfortable yet coming out to any attraction, to any activity where there are other people. So, I think the key is building that consumer confidence. That's going to come slowly. It's going to come with decreasing COVID cases. It's going to come with other facilities reopening. We are, I think, one of the few, if not the only indoor facility that's currently opened in the county. I know a lot of our cultural partners with outdoor facilities are open, but that's kind of the snapshot status of where we are and what we've accomplished. We've had very few issues of compliance with our policies. People constantly needing reminders in the building to wear their masks properly, but everyone is, for the most part, complying with distancing, complying with hand washing, hand disinfection, all of the things that we've asked them to do and the things that we've implemented. So, and that I would add that includes the young children in camps, which is sort of surprising to me that we can have kids here at the museum for 8 hours a day, fully social distanced and wearing masks. I was a little skeptical of our ability to manage that, and that has turned out to be really manageable, and the students, adjust very quickly. There are very small class sizes, and the desks are socially distanced. So, you can operate those things safely, but it takes sort of a lot of thought, a lot of care, and the staff really kind of holding everyone to the fire and making sure that people are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
That's great. It's great to hear that, and kudos to you and Frank and the entire team there. We look forward to learning more from what you're experiencing, and I'm sure there'll be some questions in the chat for Frank and how he's making such a great run at it. So with that, I'd love to go back. Do we have Bill back with us? Bill, are you there? All right. Bill, sorry about that, but welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Don't know what happened there, but things happen with Zoom. I was speaking about the local orders from your mayor, the county mayor, and the consistency of closing indoor attractions aside from museums when we had the spike down there. But the next day there was an amendment made to that order which encompassed adult theaters, special cabarets, unlicensed massage parlors, and outdoor amusement facilities. And there's a couple of problems with that. One is the association of family-oriented amusement facilities with cabarets, adult theaters, and massage establishments. But the second is that 3 out of 4 are indoor facilities. And that was kind of the original, it appeared to be the intent of that emergency order. And then out of all of those facilities that were all indoors, we also saw the closure or the reclosure of outdoor amusement facilities, which is really a very big issue for us, having those closed down in Miami-Dade County. Aside from Miami-Dade, the rest of the state looks good, and notwithstanding the pandemic and some numbers that we're seeing around the state. And actually, we're seeing some decline, and you all have seen a little bit of a decline over the last month also. But very similar to what Frank was saying a moment ago, not a lot of issues with people complying. I think the industry has been very clear on what the expectations are of guests, been very clear on what the potential risks are of being in groups. And frankly, the attractions industry is very well suited to accommodate people because that's what we do all day long in a safe environment. So this idea of managing people and establishing expectations and maintaining cleanliness, safety, and security is something that we do 365 days a year, pandemic or no pandemic. Last week, we had a webinar. It was our 11th webinar since the pandemic began. We had about 60 of our members on and had a conversation from regions around the state, presentations from 10 regions around the state on what they're seeing. And a lot of it is a matter of what's going on in the community. In communities where there tends to be higher positivity numbers, it's a bigger challenge. But we're seeing parts of the state that have done remarkably well. And those are states that are traditionally drive destinations for Floridians. We've seen a lot of folks from Miami-Dade County in the Orlando area. Orlando and Tampa kind of trade back and forth. And St. Augustine as an area is a big beneficiary of Floridians staycationing. So some attractions, in fact, in Northeast Florida have hit 80% of their budget already. That's not 80% of their capacity, but 80% of what they had anticipated prior to the pandemic. So there's some good news around the state. I think the opening of the Disney parks was certainly something that is going to help. They certainly have done a remarkable job with their protocol. And finally, it's just a matter of people feeling comfortable with travel again. And I think the better job the tour and travel industry does giving people confidence that we're doing the right thing, that we're maintaining proper capacities, that we're establishing the safety protocols and maintaining them and holding people responsible for them, the better ultimately the state of Florida is going to be coming out of the pandemic.
That's great. And it's such a refreshing insights to hear that there's some positivity coming, that people are coming back out to attractions, to museums around the state. And so we definitely have a lot to look forward to here in Miami-Dade County. Thank you so much, Bill. We'll come back to you in a little bit for some follow-up questions. So it's my great pleasure to introduce Albert Garcia. Albert Garcia is the managing principal of Wynwood Ventures and chairman and co-founder of the Wynwood Business Improvement District. Now, this government agency was created in 2013, and it leads the renaissance of the 50-city block Wynwood Arts District here in Miami. And for over 30 years, Albert and his family have been commercial property and business owners focused on the betterment of Wynwood. So Albert, welcome. And I just have to ask Albert, with Miami Art Week just 5 months away, tell us a little bit about what some of your concerns for businesses, galleries, and museums in Wynwood.
Well, first, thank you, John, for bringing this panel together, and to the GMCVB for your continued support through these challenging times. You know, for those of you that are familiar with Wynwood, and those of you that have yet to visit us during this pandemic season, contrary to popular belief, we are open, albeit obviously, like everyone else, in a different state of operations. We're known around the world for being one of the largest collections of public street art. And last year we had close to 5 million visitors. Now all of that came to a screeching halt like everywhere else in South Florida and around the world. And that for us really meant our small locally owned businesses that comprise the vast majority of our local economy, not just in South Florida, but in Wynwood in particular. And, you know, to put it mildly, you know, it's been quite challenging. We have already had a few businesses that have unfortunately been forced to close their doors permanently. And those that remain open, you know, have found creative ways to continue to operate. And we've been working together with our partners at the county and the city to find new ways to keep our restaurants, for example, operating outdoors. So while all of that is happening and our road to recovery has stabilized, we're looking now into the future. So Art Week being just less than 4 months away, but in reality, all the planning and preparation for Art Week and all the events around it has already started and really starts to peak over the next several weeks. So we're, I would say, mildly anxious. It's probably a safe way to say it, but in reality, we're a bit nervous. And I think in speaking to other leaders from other arts organizations throughout South Florida, similarly, you know, keenly monitoring the situation, in particular with the art fairs, Art Basel, of course, being the largest. And while publicly they're all stating that everything is normal and we're still planning to have Art Week in December, with all of the travel restrictions around the world, in particular, now even places like New York State, you know, keeping folks out and requiring they quarantine, it's going to be a big challenge, to be quite frank. So what we're hoping to do and what we've started to do is work with other peer cultural organizations throughout the county to start preparing for a modified Art Week, if you will. Even the best case scenario, if everybody can still come to South Florida, which we hope they can from around the world and from down the road, large gatherings are still going to be a challenge. But I think there is certainly an opportunity for us, and I think Kathleen's initiative, by the way, I want to salute her because I know some of our businesses in the neighborhood are a part of this initiative, is I think the foundation from which we should be looking to expand and program to continue to give opportunities for folks like the GMCVB to add to their messaging to entice domestic visitors to come and visit South Florida during the winter months. In Wynwood in particular, the months of November, December, and January represent close to 70% of their annual revenue. So if you can imagine the last several months being typically the low season and pretty much being close to zero where we're at compared to last year as far as our growth rate, this can really make or break this neighborhood and I think really South Florida's local economy. You know, we like to say we're a microcosm of Miami because we hit everything from retail to restaurants to hospitality to tech startups and office users and now residents. You know, we're committed to working together with all of our partners to weather this COVID storm. But certainly, I think as a community, we really have to kind of come together and ask ourselves, what can we do to send a message to the world that we're certainly open and that in the arts world, Miami will continue to be a place that welcomes both visitors and locals alike during what is typically known as one of the high points of our arts and cultural calendar every year. So I'm excited to be on the panel and of course, indulge questions. And if anybody out there who's watching or listening wants to collaborate with us, you know, we hope that you'll reach out because we certainly are looking forward to working across all groups and organizations, both here locally and beyond.
Great, thank you so much, Albert. And you know, it's encouraging to hear that the Wynwood bid is so focused on Art Week and being very proactive in helping to plan what a modified Art Week could look like for our community. So now we're going to have a little bit of Q&A. Whoops, one slide too far. And I've got some questions that I want to fire back to all of our panelists here. And to do that, we'll stop to share so we can get everybody up here on the screen. And first off, what's been one of the most surprising benefits, if you can find a benefit from the shutdown? And Kathleen, I'd love to start with you and hear just particularly about New World Symphony, a benefit that you've experienced with your organization.
I think for all of us, it's hard to find the positive when you have to shut down and stop operations. We pride ourselves at the New World Symphony on being innovative and resilient, and this has been a moment where we've had to test that, to prove that we actually are those things, and to take a moment to step back and say, how do we get through this period, but also what do we take from this into the future? Can we create programs that are both in person and virtual? What are the different things that we can do? So I think taking a moment to kind of take a deep breath, absorb what's happening, and then try to take the lessons for both to communicate right now, but also for the future, has been great.
Thank you. Thanks for that. Yeah, the New World Symphony has always been such an innovative organization in our community. Frank, what have you seen as a surprising benefit?
I think for us, it's been twofold. One, as a sort of a young, newer museum, we really didn't have a lot of content, library-wise, that we could put online. So it really forced us to develop things pretty quickly that we now have access to. So we probably would have taken years to do the things that we did in 2 months had we not had COVID. And I think secondly, just we've always thought of ourselves as a very efficient organization, but we've been able to find even more efficiencies in how we operate. So, that sort of inward-looking focus has allowed us to do that.
It's great, so smart to do, to reevaluate, resources during this time to be as lean and mean as you possibly can be. Bill, you've mentioned, 11 sessions with the Attractions Association. I imagine that's been a benefit to be able to reconnect and connect further with the attractions here in the state. Tell me what you're seeing as a surprising benefit.
Yeah, I think, there's one thing for the association to present information, but it's another thing for our members to be connecting with each other. And one of the great things that we've seen over the last 3 months has been our members are talking to each other, helping each other, sharing their insights, showing their successes, their failures, and helping one another at a degree that we've never seen before. And it's been really gratifying to see the Florida Attractions family of members pulling together and working together and communicating with each other and helping each other get reopened. The other thing that's happened with us is, typically we're a state organization. We deal with issues from the state level. It's kind of our sweet spot. But as a result of the pandemic, we've had to deal with things at a federal level. We've been very active in working with Congress and using our lobbyists to influence some of these loan programs that have come out over the last several months, and then helping our members connect to available stimulus funds. But on the flip side of that, we also have been much more active at a county level. And with 67 counties in Florida, each of them kind of dealing with this in a different way, it's been a real challenge for us and a stretch for us. But we've been able to glean insights from one county that had been able to help governments in other counties, and helping not just our members, but helping governments connect and learn from each other and establish some similarities in processes and best practices in how government can assist industry in handling the pandemic.
Great, thank you for that. And Albert, what are you seeing as a positive benefit from the pandemic, from the bid?
Sure. So to follow up on Bill's comments, I mean, we're also just really humbled by the collaborative spirit, that we already had in the neighborhood, but has now just, exponentially grown. If you visited the neighborhood before, you're probably familiar with Zach the Baker, for example. And, we worked really hard with him and other partners in creating this collaborative community where you could buy Zach's bread at his bakery, but you could also probably come across it at not just Whole Foods regionally, but throughout the ecosystem of the other restaurants in the neighborhood, similarly with our breweries. But now, of course, the challenge is how do we keep engagement with folks that loved our nightlife? I mean, we forget about those venues. They haven't been open since this all started back in March. Special events. These are all parts of our DNA as a community. So we worked with them in creating these really unique virtual events where we almost do a whole package where you'd see your favorite DJ, but then be able to simultaneously bring friends together remotely and order food and beverage from other operators in the neighborhood to almost have your own house party to kind of bring Wynwood to your home. And that was a series that we launched shortly after the pandemic began and have since amplified it. So, the way we've been able to adjust to consumer habits and rethink customer experience has certainly been a big positive and something that will stay with us even on the other side of this pandemic.
Great. Thank you so much for that. And so we've got just a few minutes left. I'm going to ask this question to our panelists specifically, but I'd love to see some responses from our attendees in the chat box. And so the question is, what can the GMCVB do to be more helpful in driving attendance and raising awareness and drawing audiences back to attractions and cultural institutions? Frank, I know you've been hard at work driving audiences. Tell me a little bit about what you think the GMCVB could be more helpful in doing for you in the Frost Science Museum.
That's a great question. We've been trying to balance the messaging to really focus more on, if you're comfortable going out and coming, here are the things that we need to try to make it safe. I think rebuilding that consumer confidence is what we all need to do. And that's showing what Miami is doing, the city, what the county is doing, what the state is doing, and that you can have a safe experience, particularly if you're someone who's at low risk of the disease and or of major consequences from it. So it's kind of a balancing act. I think that's the difficult thing. Not communicating that we want everybody to come out and get back to normal quickly, but that we need the confidence there to rebuild the tourism base and get the local visitors comfortable coming back.
Thanks for that, Frank. Kathleen, what do you see as something the GMCVB could be helpful with?
I think that you've been incredibly helpful all along, and I'm not sure specifically more than what we've been doing, but I think one of the things that we all need to do more of is that comfort level that Frank spoke about of what needs to happen and how to be safe. And John, I know you had mentioned once before, but like if we get there, we have to get there by encouraging mask using, encouraging safety, and I think all of our institutions are and need to be just sort of hammering on that of like, we will get there, but we have to get there safely.
Absolutely, yes, totally agree. And Albert, what do you think about this question and how the GMCVB could play a larger role in helping the Wynwood bid?
Sure. I mean, the whole team has been doing a phenomenal job. To echo Kathleen's points, we couldn't be in better hands with Bill and Rolando and the entire team there. So thank you again for all that you've done and continue to do for our community. I mean, I would just say that in light of where we are now and where we anticipate we'll be over the next several weeks, we should really place a renewed commitment, not that you're not already doing this, but perhaps continue to build upon the initiatives that you've previously launched to focus on the hyper-local market and in the drive market, to bring people from across the state down here, to convey how safe it is, all the things that you can do both indoor and outdoors, in environments that are also family friendly. Because right now, we're getting hit with the rising number of statistics that sometimes deter people from even stepping outside their doors. People are afraid. People are second guessing, where they can go safely. And we just have to reassure them and do a better job, I believe, of conveying that we are all taking that responsibility quite seriously. And we also depend on one another to keep our economy moving. So it's a very challenging balancing act. We know that. But again, thank you for all that you do. And, we're here to support you as well.
Thanks so much for that, Albert. And Bill, from your statewide perspective, where do you see a DMO like the GMCVB fitting in to the recovery efforts?
Yeah, I think 2 or 3 things real quick, top of the head. Number one, anything that GMCVB can do to influence government there to open outdoor spaces to the public. I think we understand that outdoor spaces are safer and can be managed properly, and no one can do that better than the attractions in Miami-Dade County. The second thing is, let's not forget that 2 years ago, the Florida legislature reduced Visit Florida's budget from $75 million to $50 million. And a certain Speaker of the House from a certain part of the state was instrumental in that move. We're in a dire situation now with a state marketing agency that is grossly underfunded and will need additional dollars to market Florida to the world. At the same time, every session, our local CVBs and TDTs are attacked, and they're with a money grab from government to use the funds for things other than marketing. And we need to rally the tourism industry to protect the TDCs and the CVBs so that those dollars are used for the intended purpose to market Miami-Dade County to the world. And then the final thing is we need to maintain a sense of positivity as an industry. We're in a business that portrays optimism and hope and creates memories for good memories for people. And we're family oriented, and we need to make sure that as we're going about our business and doing things, notwithstanding the fact that we're in a pandemic and that there is pain and suffering around us, but that ultimately we're going to come out of this, and we're going to come out of this as a stronger people, as a stronger country, as a stronger state, and as a stronger industry. And we need to have that optimism that there's a better day ahead, and share that with each other and with others that we come in contact with.
Great, thank you. I love those words from you, Bill. So encouraging, so encouraging. At this point, Allie, my good friend and partner in crime, Allie Bebo from our partnerships team, has been monitoring the chat. Allie, do you have some questions from our attendees for our illustrious panel this morning?
Well, there aren't a lot of questions yet, so I do encourage folks to ask now if you have them. Play them if you got them. I did throw up, some people had some questions about the recovery time frame, and I did just recently share in the chat a link to our daily dashboard, which is an interesting and valuable resource, hopefully for everyone. Bookmark it and check it. You can see how we're comparing statewide as well as see our local county numbers. Because one of the questions from our friends at Jungle Island was, what is the level of recovery expected prior to fall 2021? That may be a crystal ball question, but I'll throw it out there.
Yeah, Bill, I know you alluded to some insights you've gleaned from other attractions around the state that have been opened, and how are you seeing the progression on their increases?
Yeah, you know, there is, and I haven't done a study, but just anecdotally, there is a correlation between the positivity rate and and visitation. And I'm encouraged that Miami-Dade is moving in the right direction. The state of Florida, generally speaking, is moving in the right direction as far as cases go and positivity. There's a little bit more of a challenge with the death statistics, but I would just encourage you all as a community to continue the good work you're doing to defeat this beast, and it's working around state and there in Miami.
Yes, thank you so much for that. And I see Joseph Quinones from the Frost Science put a link into the chat talking about some new reports for performance from attractions. So I encourage everyone to check that out, most definitely. And so I want to close us out here with parting words. And so if I could just round robin through our panel here, what's the one piece of advice you would give to our listeners on how to attract audiences during this new era? Kathleen, we'll start with you.
I have no wise words. I would say let's work smartly and make sure that we're moving forward as quickly as possible, but as safely as possible. And doing it together, working together, has been an incredible way to go, so that we're all supporting each other.
Thank you. And Frank, one key takeaway for attracting audiences.
I think it's just to be really overt about the safety procedures that you've implemented. Make them very visible, make your team visible, disinfecting everything and walking around and policing the requirements that you've set, because I think people will have that confidence if they know that you're doing everything that you can.
Great, thank you, Frank. And Albert, what would be your one key takeaway for all of us?
I would echo what Frank said. If you're open, definitely reassure your clientele that it's safe to engage. And if you're unfortunately closed right now due to the existing emergency orders, do not stop engaging with your customers. Use social media. More people are engaged now than ever before, and continue to build on those relationships, because your doors will reopen soon, hopefully. And what you do now will impact how quickly you can recover when that day comes.
Great advice, Albert. And Bill, I'll leave you with the last one.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's just been said. I think not only establishing the standards, but as Frank said, make sure that those standards that you've established are being maintained. And I'd like to add to that now may be a good time for a little bit of protocol theater, where you are overtly and obviously cleaning. And I think the more people see, either consciously or subconsciously, an effort for our staff to be wiping things down, to be cleaning things, to maintaining social distancing, to be doing all of those things. There's a gym I go to, they wipe down the same wall about every 5 minutes. And that wall doesn't get dirty every 5 minutes. Nobody's touching it. But it's just an opportunity to kind of signal to people there that they're taking it seriously. And that's the kind of theater, if you want to get arts and culture now, that's the kind of theater that we can have in all of our businesses that will help establish confidence in the public.
Excellent advice, Bill. Excellent. Thank you so much for that. So to close things out today, thank you again to our great panel. As everybody sees, this session is being recorded today. We plan to be releasing the recording of all of our sessions, hopefully next week. We will also provide the PowerPoint. I will go through the chat and answer any questions that we didn't get answered, as well as putting in contact information for the organizations on our panel and how to get in touch with them. Lastly, if you are so inclined today, coming up next is a PR session. And so you'll hear from the GMCVB's PR team starting at 10:30. You can feel free to jump in on that and register at gmcvb.com. Also, we have a social media panel coming up at 1 p.m. this afternoon, followed by our final session of this planning workshop series, extranet training, at 2:30. And so if you are a member of the GMCVB and have extranet access, this could be a great refresher for you to learn more about how you can optimize your presence with miamiandbeaches.com. So with that, I thank everyone for attending. So good to see you all this morning. Stay safe, wear your mask, and I can't wait to virtually visit all of you, but in real person, in real life would be optimal. So keep the faith. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much.